What goes on, guys? We're back here again with yet another review, and today I am incredibly excited to be taking a look at the brand new Hiya Toys Godzilla King of the Monsters King Gidorah. And holy shit, this box is huge. Like, I knew this was going to be big, but I didn't know it was going to be this big. This thing is awesome. I can't really do a full turn on the box. All it says on each side is Godzilla King of the Monsters. Nothing crazy, just that logo up there on each side. And then here's the back of the box with all your then they get like a little picture of Ghidorah on the bottom and the same picture on the top, but you do get a bunch of, well, not a bunch, I guess 3 product shots of the figure, and holy crap, I'm so excited to get this open. I do have 2 SH Monster Arts King Ghidorahs, but I don't have this version of him in a highly articulated figure, so this is awesome. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open these bad boys up. So getting Ghidorah out of the packaging, wow, this thing is pretty damn impressive. I'm gonna do my best to keep everything in frame without getting too sloppy with it, but he's a big old boy, very big boy. Boys, I don't know. Do we know, like, do we call Ghidorah like him or they, or what are Ghidorah's pronouns? Let me know. But holy shit, this thing is awesome. Like, really, really awesome. So there's not too much to go over, to be honest, other than like the amazing sculpt and paint. The articulation's not great. It doesn't really bother me personally, and I'll talk about why I think there's actually more articulation in here than there needs to be. And he has no accessories. So it's going to be one of those like weird, like, it's an awesome ass figure, but there's not that much to talk about. So we'll go ahead and jump into it. Taking a look at the head sculpts here. They look great. So much detail packed into these little heads. I will say the jaw pops out on some of them, so you just want to be, you know, a little cautious about that. But the paint is amazing on this thing. Like, that looks like an actual animal. It's amazing. I work with reptiles quite frequently, and I can tell you, these scoots and scales, they look perfect. You get some of the, you know, the what's the term? You get the scoots and the scales, you have the bottom ones and the top ones, so like the dorsal and the ventral ones, they look great. It just looks great. Keeled scales, that's what those are called, mimicking like snake scales. These ones that come to a point, they are called keeled scales. So I really like that. It looks awesome. The sculpt is incredible. I'm gonna try to get the back here too. It's just incredible. It all pieces together very nice. Like, obviously you can see where the articulation is, but I think it goes together quite nicely. Now, the spikes all have a little bit of paint on the tip of them as well, and then you get down to the tails, and they also look fantastic. His underbelly also looks very good with his legs. The legs are done very nicely. You get the dew claw painted. The bottom of the tails look good. And then, of course, you get these big-ass wings. Now, personally, I think they should have done interchangeable wings. So instead of having these pop apart, because that is incredibly frustrating with this figure, like when you're trying to pose it around, it's not a very pose-friendly figure, because these do pop out quite frequently and quite easily, which honestly I think it would have just been easier to make an interchangeable hinge piece that just pops out at the base. And then if you really want the walking version, which I can't imagine a lot of people are going to want him walking when you can have him big open winged like this, just have that as an interchangeable part. On one hand, it'd be annoying to have to store that, but then on the other hand, I'm probably keeping this box anyway. I would imagine a lot of people are keeping this box, but yeah, you know, that's just me personally, because I don't like when the wings pop apart and they're not uniform. Like, that doesn't make biological sense. Not that a 3-headed giant electric breathing dragon makes sense, but you get what I mean. So, is he a Hydra? I don't know what he is, but because then you get like parts like this where they do not stay together, and that really bugs me. You got to get it at like the right angle or it won't stay, and it's very finicky because of that. So yeah, Not a big fan of the walking feature on this. In fact, I'm really debating on whether or not I even want to show it, because I don't think it looks good. If you look on the back of the box, that's pretty much what it is. So I'm going to try to do it with one wing. I'm probably not going to do it with both. I don't know, because I don't want to break something. But what you're supposed to do is bring down the hand like this, which his arms make no sense. He has like 7 fingers, but open that up, spread them all out like this. And then on the back of the box, it kind of just has them like folding in on each other. So I guess it's like turn it this way and then hinge that in, and then just keep turning and hinging. And it's supposed to like fold up into itself. But if you're not, the hinges are very well hidden. So if you're not paying attention to where they, where the hinge part actually is, you do run the risk of something snapping something. So that's about as best as I can get it. And then you pull this forward, and he's supposed to like walk on it. You know, these legs go forward like this, and then he's supposed to be able to like balance on this. But I don't really like that. I don't like the way that looks. Then you have like this flap back here that really shouldn't like be there. It doesn't really make sense for it to be there. So it kind of just like, it just falls flat for me. Not a big fan of that. I'm definitely, which I can imagine most people are, I'm going to be displaying him with his big old wings on the shelf, being prominent and shown, because why not? Why would you buy this and not have these big ass wings out, right? I imagine if you buy this, you know, because this is not a cheap figure, you have the means to display it, right? Come on now. So yeah, that's just me personally. I don't really see the need to have the articulation so that he can crawl. And then the only accessories he comes with is, oh, look at this. Back of his tail fall off. The only accessories he comes with are these figure stands to help him with the wings, so you kind of slide these over the wings. I'm also not a figure stand fan, and honestly, he really doesn't need them if you just have him in a generic, like, wings open pose. Like, he'll stand on his own, so I'm not even going to open this. I'm just going to put this with my other figure stands for right now. I know that that's not super helpful to people who want to use this, but I don't know. I'm not a figure stand guy. What's the point of having, just buy a statue, in my opinion. I like flight stands. They're fine, but I don't know. I don't know, it just ruins the immersion for me. Really disappointed he does not come with any electricity pieces. I think that would have been a great accessory to put with him. You know, Godzilla has his atomic breath, which Hiya did not include with that Godzilla neither. And King Ghidorah has his, like, electricity, and that would be super cool if that came with it. Look at how easy he stands. Like, he's leaning on his tails, but that's it. Like, he's not touching the wall, so the figure stands aren't super necessary for me. But, yeah, I don't know. I really wish he came with some electricity. I have some that I want to put with him, but, what are you going to do? It's not, you know, I don't feel like I need it. Oh, dude, he looks so awesome. But yeah, some electricity effects would have been pretty cool. Now, I'm going to do the articulation as best I can. You already saw it in the wing, so I'm not going to go over that again. You can flap them a little bit, like, as a whole, and kind of rotate them, but that's going to be, like, please be careful with that. I do like how they sculpted the joints, though. It's very nice. You do get a bunch of joints, double ball pegs in all of the necks that will only allow him to straighten out his neck, or necks, about that much, which isn't that much. And then you can curve them, like you can get a nice looking S, and they'll rotate at pretty much all of them, so like you can get it as fluid as possible, which that I like. That's pretty nice. And then, you know, it could be better, but it's not bad. And then all the jaws articulate, but they are really popping out on me. Not a big fan of that. It's like the mandible part. This is called the dental bone. It just doesn't, I don't know, just not staying in place very nicely. This one it is, but these two, it's a little effed up. A little fucked up. But you do get a double ball peg in the waist, which It doesn't seem like it'd be super helpful, but for like slight adjustment poses, it's nice. And if you do want to do the crawling pose, it is necessary. Hips are on a ball peg. They can rotate. They're really just going to rotate, to be honest with you. They'll come out a little bit. Then you have the stifle, hock, and the pastern here. So the stifle is going to hinge, which would be like his knee almost, and then that'll rotate. Not much there. The hock does the same thing, kind of past like... not past there. And then the pastern, or like the ankle, would be, well, technically this is the ankle, but just a little ball peg. So it's really just to get them flat-footed. Like, it's really not going to do much more than that. And then the tails are a similar situation to the necks. They'll pose, but really not that much, which is a little disappointing. And the ball pegs for the back part is very loose. Also, heat the fuck out of the tails before you put them on. That was a pain in the ass to get them on. It took me like 20 minutes just to get the tails on, because it's pointy. He's awkward. That was a pain in the butt. Heat them up as much as you can. Like, boil pop them. Good. But yeah, overall, I'd say the articulation, for me, it's almost like it has too much. Like, I don't like the wing thing at all. It has too much in certain places that it shouldn't. But then, you know, where I would want the articulation, it's not there. Like, I think the next could be a little bit better. But yeah, it's pretty good overall. I sound like I'm complaining, but it's pretty good. Now, I don't get to do this often, but I actually do have the Hiya Toys Godzilla here. I just reviewed this recently, and seeing them together is pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. I think the scale is perfect. You know, Godzilla's chunkier than Ghidorah, but Ghidorah is just huge, so seeing them together is pretty awesome. I wasn't even planning on getting this Hiya Toys Godzilla, but he's slowly becoming one of my favorite Godzillas in my collection. He's pretty awesome. He looks great. He's heavy, feels high quality. They're almost the same weight, which is kind of nice. Ghidorah is a little bit heavier, but he's also got a lot more mass to him. But yeah, seeing them together is really cool. Here he is next to some other figures, including the NECA Toys King Kong, along with the Jazzar's Fortnite Series 6-inch Peely. Here he is next to the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Dark Knight Returns Batman and the Hasbro Marvel Legends X-Men series Darwin. And as you can see, Darwin is questioning his evolutionary history because it doesn't make sense. Ghidorah does not follow any laws of evolution, which is interesting. And then finally, here he is next to the Hasbro Marvel Legends What If series Zombie Captain America. So unfortunately, obviously, I'm not going to be able to get him on the rotating base, so I just kind of got him in a cool pose for you. But yeah, he's pretty damn cool. The paint and sculpt is actually kind of ridiculous on this. The matte finish really does a number to make this look as realistic as possible, which is nice because, you know, this day and age, you get very plasticky looking figures, which nobody wants that. So I really, really like the paint and sculpt. The articulation, honestly, I think it's what it needs to be. It could be a little bit better in places. I would argue this is one of those rare cases where I think it's too much articulation. Like, the whole metacarpals being joints to get them to walk, it just doesn't do it for me. Not a fan of that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty sick. I would like some more effect parts and accessories in general, because the stands do nothing for me. They do nothing. So, yeah, he's pretty damn cool. If you're looking for a King Ghidorah on the shelf and you don't want to pay $300 for the SH Monster Arts one, which I think this is better from what I've seen in the SH Monster Arts one. I have the SH Monster Arts Classic King Ghidorah and then Mecha King Ghidorah, which I can't wait to see how this compares to them. My Godzilla collection is going to be awesome one day. But yeah, this is pretty cool. So with all that being said, at a price point of, I guess out the door, it's like 100, 110. I got it off of 5K Toys, which they usually do very cheap stuff. I love 5K. If you haven't checked them out, go check them out. But at that price point, I'm going to go ahead and give this guy 8 out of 10. I'm going to give him an 8 because he is expensive. He looks great, and he's going to have great shelf presence. And subjectively, I really, really like this figure. I would give him a 10 subjectively, but objectively, I can see that there are issues for that price point. So I think 8 is a fair number. But with that being said, I believe that's all I got for today. So if you have not already, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also be sure to follow me here on TikTok, Instagram, and Letterboxd. I post a lot on all of those apps, and I have a great time, so I'm sure you will too. But as always, let me know. You copping this bad boy? Because he's pretty sick. See you guys next one. Peace. Peace.
What goes on, guys? I wanted to hop on here again and thank you all for watching, and to let you know that if the following apps interest you, feel free to follow me on them, as I put the links in the description for you guys. I really appreciate everything you all do for me, so DM me with any questions or thoughts. I'd love to sit and talk with you all. Again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.